How is everyone doing today? Today we're going to be talking about how to get 120 megahash plus on the 3090 for the Win 3 EVGA. We're going to talk a little bit about EIP 1559. We're also going to talk about this little tiny cute little GPU right here. All coming up. So I'm just going to start off with EIP 1559. EIP 1559 is a proposal to basically make mining go away. It kind of sucks. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. It's going to happen. Timeline, no one really knows firmly, but there is a proposed timeline that they told us all about. In fact, it's supposed to be the first step or something. I believe it's supposed to be starting soon. Teaspoon, I'm going to be queuing you in to talk more about it in just a moment. The way Ethereum is currently mined, there's a lot of people on the network. You mine, you confirm transactions, you process blockchain, you do confirmations, and then you get a small fee for doing that. Now, depending on how much people want to move around money-wise, there's a transaction fee, and that's what we get paid, the miners. That transaction fee varies depending on how congested the network is. So let's say everyone and their mother wanted to move Ethereum. Well, the price will keep going up, and it will continue to go up until it reaches equilibrium, like somebody doesn't want to pay that. Then the network will get less congested. Kind of like a toll on a highway, except that toll on the highway increases the more cars that use it. EIP 1559 kind of does away with a lot of how Ethereum is structured right now, especially when it comes to mining. And that also goes in conjunction with Ethereum 2.0, and that's also gonna cause a lot of issues for mining. I'll tell you that. Teaspoon, are you there? Why don't you tell us about your new rig you got going real quick?
Yeah, so I've posted a few pictures of it. I'm working on my build video. Got the content put together. I actually might see if I can get the editing software onto the new build and edit it from there. So a little christening or whatever, if you will. So you're
gonna edit your video about the new rig on the rig. I like
inception.
that.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Nice. Yeah, but it's been great so far. I've got it set up just with basic nice hash miner during the day when I'm at work and whatnot, and gives me it gave me an extra $8 or $9 a day on top of my other rigs, but not in the last few days because ETH has been in the toilet.
Right.
So it's been maybe $2 to $4 a day or whatever, but it's still income, so I'll take it. But yeah,
it's better than nothing, right?
Right, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, EIP 1559, though, it's just, it's bittersweet, definitely. And there's a lot of, it's a lot of stuff to swallow. I know there's a lot of aspects to it. In some ways, I sort of see the positives, but the biggest thing that's just the hardest thing to stomach is that it just, slashes the throat of the majority of earnings for miners, and that's just a majorly tough pill to swallow. Whatever. I know that everyone has their own opinions about it, and I am I know there's a website, stopeip1559.org, that you can go to. I'll drop this in the YouTube chat. And this shows opposing and supporting pools, mining pools, which ones support, which ones oppose. And so if you happen to be mining on any pools that are on the supporting side, I suggest, it's up to you, obviously, do your own research, but we obviously are trying to support each other and, stand together as miners type of thing in this particular predicament that we're all up against. But, if you happen to be mining on a pool that's listed on the supporting side, I would recommend switching over to one of the pools that is on the opposing side, just to kind of put our foot down, as it were, and let our voice be heard.
That's right, Teaspoon. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of bittersweet. It is definitely going to be good for the network overall, but for us miners, it's going to be a big blow. So I really think that if you guys do care about mining, if you do care about the profitability essentially for us miners, it's a good idea that you go check out the link that was thrown into the chat there. By the way, guys, if you have any questions for us, please either at me or at one of us. That way we can see it highlighted in the chat. Otherwise, it's going to go too fast. I won't be able to keep up with it. We have some people monitoring it to give us questions, but that way we can definitely see it. Yep. Real quick, Chump Change, what do you got printing there in the background?
We got some new GPU hangers that we have just created a couple weeks ago, and nice custom Misfit Mining GPU hangers. Let me show you.
Yeah, let's show us those if you can.
Actually, you know what, let me transition. Hold on 1 second.
Love to see what those are.
Right.
Yeah, you may want to bump up your voice volume just a tad.
Was that me?
Yeah, just your voice volume's just a tad quiet.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, I'll turn it up.
Ooh, that looks nice.
It's hard to get like a good angle on the camera, but yeah, came out pretty good, actually.
Now that bracket there, what does it do actually?
So basically, it allows your GPUs to hang on a wire rack. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that rig right there I got. I don't know if you can see that. See how it's right here, Sapphire Nitros, all hanging. I didn't want to disconnect the camera just yet, but I'll get into that a little later after we're done doing what you want to do with your
Yeah,
situation.
definitely. How about I do that then? So I'll just go over to the thing I got on the agenda, and then we'll go over to Chump Change, and he'll tell us all about those GPU hangers, which is pretty cool. You guys should check it out. All right, so I'll just go into it then. Here, my friends, this is an EVGA 3090 for the Win 3 Ultra. That's it right there, guys. Beautiful 3090. So, here's the thing about the newer style GPUs, specifically the 3080s and 3090s. They have memory chips on the back of the card. Right here, right here, right here, and right here. There's only one chip down here in the corner, so it's not as important. But these three spots right here, that's where all the heat goes. And there's no active cooling back there. So what we're going to do today is we're going to add some heat sinks on the back of these cards with these very special, took me a long time to find these, very special heat sinks. I got two kinds here. So let me just open this up. This is the kind we'll be using today. This is the kind I used before. Let me see if I could get like a backdrop so you guys can see it. I'll just use the side panel here. So that's what they look like. Just like that.
Those are way taller than the ones I got.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So as you can see, that's that. These are the kind that are readily available on Amazon. You can just get these anywhere.
So where did you get the other ones, the ones you just got?
Those are actually also from Amazon, but they appear to be either in short supply or hard to get. I'm not sure. But I finally got some after waiting quite a while. They seem to be sold out at the moment, but these cost 4 times as much than these. So one of these is like $4. And this whole box of these is like $8.
Right.
So the reason why I'm using ones with much higher height is because, as we all know with heat sinks, well, actually I should explain how heat sinks work. So the way a heat sink works is like this. So imagine this is your radiating surface. This is the surface that's getting hot, right? So what a heat sink does, it effectively increases the surface area. So this can only radiate from this amount of space. What a heatsink does is it makes that surface area bigger. That's all it did. Remember, I got the same amount of material right here, okay? I just folded it out. So that allows a much bigger surface to radiate heat. So that's what it does. It increases the surface area, which allows heat to escape much more effectively. Because the flatness of this back of this card does actually radiate heat. But when we increase the surface area by putting on a heatsink, it allows the heat to move faster. Thus the name heatsink. Heat sinks into it, then it radiates off of it. So what we're going to be using today to do that is this fancy, actually not so fancy, it's just, you know, just your standard stuff. This is what we call thermal tape, not to be confused with thermal pads or silicone or anything like that. Silicone or anything like that. This is actually adhesive, and this actually keeps the heat sinks on the GPU right here. It's really strong, especially when it gets hot. A lot of your adhesives under heat fail and they fall off. No, this stuff works really well. Even when the GPU gets smoking hot, it does not fall off. It's really hard to get off after you put it on. So today we're going to add the thermal tape on the back of this. We're going to attach it to the back of the GPU, just like that. And then we're going to install it into this machine right here. And then we're going to show how we can get better hash rates. So you may not get anything above 120, but what you will get is stability. So TJ Max on these cards is 110 Celsius on the memory, not the GPU core, the memory. It's 110 Celsius, which is smoking hot. That's really hot. I would not want to run my GPU memory at that heat for a long period of time. The reason why it gets so hot, when it comes to mining Ethereum, most of the work is actually done on the GPU memory, right? So the GPU memory is the thing we overclock, and then the core, the GPU core, we actually underclock, right? The reason for that is the GPU core doesn't really do as much when it comes to Ethereum mining, and it just takes extra energy. So we underclock that, and we overclock the memory. And that is what gets us those nice, juicy hash rates. The EVGA 3090 for the Win Ultra, I am able to get on some cards up to 125, up to 126 mega hash,
That's impressive.
which is just insane. That's
very impressive.
What, a $10,000 nvidia Tesla? I think that was the only thing that was able to do that.
That's crazy.
Speaking of Teslas, I got a little beauty right here. This, my friends, is an old school nvidia Tesla card. This card is quite old. I got it for 20 bucks on eBay. Don't buy it. It can't do anything. Not really. You could probably get maybe 1 or 2 mega hash with this thing. What I'm using this for is just a stand-in for a PCIe slot reference, because I don't want to use a 3090 when I'm trying to dial everything in. I don't want to break the 3090. If I break this, I don't care. It's only 20 bucks. Probably costs more to ship it to me.
Right.
Alright, so we're going to get started, guys. So whenever I work on electronics, I always wear gloves because I really don't want my oils on anything or things like that. So the type of gloves I'm going to use are these Raven Nitro gloves. They're really good stuff.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, they work great. So I'm going to put the gloves on.
So you just got thermal tape.
Yep, I got some thermal tape, and I got the heat sinks. So I'm going to use some of this fancy 99% isopropyl alcohol, anhydrogenous alcohol here. All that means is it's devoid of water. So I just sprayed it down, and I'm going to use this to clean the surface. Oh, you actually can't see what I'm doing. Let me do that. I'm going to use this to clean the back of the GPU. The reason we do that, anytime there's oils or foreign object debris on the card or surface you're putting something sticky on, that stickiness goes to that and not the surface you're trying to bond to, which thus reduces our thermal transference and reduces our adhesion. So I'm just going to wipe down the back of the card real nice. And then I'm going to use the other side of the cloth to make sure it's nice and dry. So now that's done, we're going to get our heat sinks. Put the card over here for now. Actually, I'll put it here so you guys can see what I'm doing. I wish I had a top-down view camera, but I'll have that next time when I get it all set up. So we're going to take our thermal tape right here. And I got my scissors ready to go. I'm just going to cut off section. The very end, I'm just going to cut off and discard because the very end of the tape tends to not be that great. So what we're going to do, as you can see, the width of the tape is much narrower than the heatsink itself, so we're actually going to make a couple of cuts. Now I could have gotten much wider tape in hindsight, but I didn't, so we're doing it this way. So what we're going to do is actually go oversized on the thermal, on the heatsink. And then we're going to use a razor to trim it off. So I'm just going to put that on. So as you can see, I went oversized. I'll show you guys a reference of what I just did. I went oversized on the heatsink. That's because I'm going to use a razor to trim it off. I'm going to take another section. This isn't that expensive, by the way. You could just get it on Amazon. Oh, I cut that too short. You could just get it on Amazon. There's like 18,000 different vendors. It's like all Chinese products. One guy makes it and like 18 people rebrand it and resell it. Now, when you put it on the back of the heatsink, it's very important you don't overlap, because when you overlap, you create a height difference. And whenever you have a height difference on a heatsink surface, that means you lose all that contact area. It goes from that big flat plate to that little tiny strip. You don't want that. So if anything, you want it to have a gap instead of an overlap. If you noticed, you keen-eyed people, I just took it off because I accidentally overlapped. Okay, so just gonna give that a nice push on a flat surface. So you can kind of see the outline of the heatsink on the back of this. You can see the thermal tape on the back of this heatsink. Now this part you guys got to be careful. I'm going to take a razor blade, real sharp, brand new, and I'm just going to trim off the thermal tape. And that's going to give me perfect dimensions. Jump change, we do have music going, right? Did I lose you guys?
I like music.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just trimming off. Trying to be careful not to cut myself.
Sorry, I do have music going if that's what you just asked.
Yeah, just want to make sure in the times where I'm
low,
quiet.
though. That's why I was just checking it. I had my headset off, checking it somewhere else.
Alright, so I just trimmed it. Now we got a perfectly applied thermal tape on the back of this heatsink. So we're just going to take off the back blue anti-stick surface there. And then we're going to apply it to the GPU. Okay, so I just took it off. You see it's white like that. Then we're going to apply it to the GPU. So real quick, on these type of 3090s, there's only one memory chip down here. There's only one right there. So we're actually going to put a smaller pad right there, or a smaller heatsink right there. So we don't really need a big one. So this one we're just going to put right on the top to make sure we cover the entire surface. I'm just going to straight down. Oh, another thing I should mention, the way the fins are, you want it to be angled away where the air will flow. So you got to think ahead. So the air on my rig will be flowing in this direction, not this way, but this way, from front to back. So I want the fins to be this way, not this way. Because I almost put it on backwards because I was, not paying attention. So just do that. Give it some firm pressure. I'm not crushing it. I'm just putting firm pressure on it. And now we got a heatsink applied to the back of our EVGA for the Win 3 3090 Ultra.
Damn, that's crazy looking, huh?
Yeah.
Man. So yeah, what you were saying is like those pins are wider in one direction than the other. For all you that can't really see it.
Yeah, the fins are actually thicker in one direction than another.
Yeah, they're like an 1/8 inch, and the other way they're like a 1/16 of an inch or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Sorry if you guys couldn't see that on camera. I was trying to do my best to show you guys.
No, yeah, you might be able to see it. I don't know. I was just recapping in case anybody didn't like catch it.
Yep. Okay. So we're gonna do this for all. We're gonna put 3 of the big ones on here and 1 of the little ones on the bottom. So I actually should have checked before we started the stream. I don't know if it's gonna clear.
I was just gonna say.
Yep,
Same
it'll
thing.
just barely clear.
Really? That thing's
So-
crazy, that mount you have set up the rig. How it's
Oh,
like-
this?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool how it mounts in like this.
It like shows
that
the
way,
GPU space.
yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Instead of, I can mount it like this,
Oh, I hate that.
but then like it's such a beautiful GPU, you know?
It is. It looks way better standing up. But I mean, now that you're adding all those heat sinks to the back, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, do we have any questions in chat?
I haven't noticed. Teaspoon, you notice anything specific? I can't hear you.
So, again,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah, I'm
trimming
checking to
off
see-
all the
yeah,
excess material.
Techman TY says, how do you know the optimal spot? No, sorry, the optimal spot to put the heatsinks.
Ah, I'm glad you asked. How do I know the optimal spot, buddy?
I
You
wish
see,
you
I am
had
a
a
man
drop
of science. I'm going to do a shameless plug here.
Do it.
On my
absolutely.
channel, on Tech Shinji, right? I did a video with my E95 FLIR thermal camera pointed directly at this GPU.
I will drop a link in a second.
Yep, if you don't mind dropping that for me. In that video, you will see
It is.
exactly what the hotspots are on this GPU, the temperatures and everything, and the before and after results of adding heat sinks with active cooling. That is how I know exactly where to put it. This isn't just a guess. I actually did research and I actually did a test to make sure I knew exactly where to apply these heat sinks.
Absolutely. Make sure you watch it later, obviously.
Yeah, not
But
right
there
now,
it is.
not right now. Late after this is over, you know.
But there it is. Yeah, no, it's a great video, honestly. It kind of clears things up, and it's extremely crazy how hot those really get in those points.
The hobbyist miner wants to know why don't they do this from the factory?
Ah,
Right.
let me answer that question. All right.
This isn't
The question was, why don't they do this from the factory? Okay? Well, I'll tell you the simple answer. Because we're technically operating out of manufacturer specifications.
right.
These video cards were designed for consumer use for gamers, and a good amount of video games don't actually tax the memory that hard. They tax the GPU core. And I don't know if you've noticed, but this humongous cooler on here is just dedicated to the RAM on the front, the VRAM on the front, and the GPU core. On these For the Win 3 Ultras, you can see that piece of copper right there. That is a special thing just for the GPU core. So, like I said, they don't do this from the factory because we're operating these out of specification, technically. We're actually pushing the memory pretty hard, and we're also running these basically 24/7. Which, again,
Right.
it was not designed to do. So right now I'm just removing the blue anti-adhesive thing on the back there,
Right. We had,
and then I'm going to add it to the card.
the hobbyist miner asked when I started mining and what was my driving factor. So I started mining beginning of 2020, to be honest. I really didn't have any GPUs. I think it was March. I started looking into building a computer, and obviously I've went crazy since. But I think it was literally just wanting to get on YouTube and build a computer and, you know, figure out how the whole environment worked. I landed on, I think it was Brandon Coin's videos when I was
Oh
trying
yeah,
to
that's a
build.
cool guy.
And yeah, I don't know, he kind of hooked me, and I was like, you can mine from GPUs? I'm like, that's weird, because I was already into cryptocurrency. I just used to purchase and hold. I didn't, you know what I mean? I never mined it. I never knew what it was. I thought it was like a commercial thing, you know? And, yeah, then I stumbled upon Red Panda, and that was the end of it.
Oh yeah, Red Panda, man. That's
Yeah,
that's where
that was the
I
end.
think we all came across Red Panda eventually.
That was it.
Right.
I remember asking him why he would mine Ravencoin over anything else, and he was like, he kind of laughed at it. He was like, well, I guess he's like, you know, if you want to be profitable. And I was like, oh, I guess that's a good answer, because that was kind of a stupid question. 'Cause at the time, like, Raven was like booming. You know, it was when it first came out with Kapow.
Oh yeah.
That's the first video I landed on Red Panda. That was the
So
first time
I actually
watched
got to I gotta admit a sin right now. I actually don't really know what kapow means. You care to explain that to me?
it. Dude, it's a whole algorithm that I would leave that to Teaspoon, not me, to explain. Could you elaborate a little, Teaspoon, on that?
Best I can, yeah. So Kapow is the algorithm behind, as far as I'm aware, just Ravencoin, I think. I'm not sure if it's the algorithm behind any other coins. That's the main one that I'm aware of,
Right.
that it drives is Ravencoin.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like ProgPow or something, right? But see, like, I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah, I
into
think
mining
it's- yeah,
that long
ProgPow
at this
based.
point, so I didn't know anything about what was before this. So I can't
Right.
even, like, talk about it, because I have no idea.
Yeah, well, and there's so many different algorithms and things, but yeah, this one is, I think it's like a fork or a derivative, something along those lines, of the ProgPow, which is programmatic proof of work. So
Right.
it's pretty interesting.
Like, Ravencoin's, like, kind of unique to a point, right? Like, I think Savage Mine was just building Pocket Change, like her own coin or something that was, like, on the
Right, yeah.
Raven network. I don't know, it was kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah,
How he was
I'd
explaining
want to
it.
go
I
back
didn't
and
get to
watch
watch
that.
too much
Having
of
an
it.
asset on the blockchain is pretty interesting. That's one of the things that's interesting about Ravencoin, is having
Right.
actual, like, I think it gets into like the NFTs, which is the non-fungible tokens, where it's like an actual like physical asset,
Right.
where it's like trackable on the blockchain or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what he was creating, if I'm not mistaken. It was
That's
a
pretty
token, yeah.
interesting.
It's kind of cool. It's different. So yeah, I really don't know as far as like what Kapow is, you know, versus like ProgPow or whatever. But I
Right?
don't know,
Yeah,
that's
they're-
what it was
they're
supposed to
different.
mimic or something. That's all I
Something
heard.
along those lines. Yeah,
Yeah.
I used that and then made some minor like adjustments to it.
Right. Right.
So, hey Shinji, so Techman TY says, nice, I just bought a Klein thermal camera for the same thing.
A
Yeah,
Klein thermal camera.
Klein. Could be like electrical tools.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Isn't that yeah, like an electrical tool company?
I wonder.
Yeah, so the thermal camera I use is a FLIR E95. It's
Yeah, that thing was like ridiculous.
super high res.
Yeah, you could see like people through walls and stuff.
Well, you know, allegedly you could, in fact, do that. But,
crazy.
you know, I would never do such a thing.
How you doing?
Yeah,
over there with the Heatsinks.
Yeah. Well, what else are you doing with that camera? So I'm actually putting the final heatsink on. This is the smaller version. The reason why I'm using the smaller one is because
That's why I was trying.
so
to
I got the 3 heat sinks on the back of the card now.
Yeah.
Kind of see that there. So the reason why I'm using the smaller one, the bottom portion of the card here, right here, there's only one like memory module or some area like right
Small,
my
though,
thumb,
right?
literally where my middle finger is. It's right there.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So we don't really need as much cooling. So if you look at the back of the heatsink, I actually only have it on the
half
bottom
of it.
half
Yep.
because it's not even going to be contacting anything else. Now, very important, guys. There's conductive spots back here, so don't let metal touch that. So this is hovering off of that by a good like 2 millimeters.
So, you're
So I'm not
basically
worried
playing
about
with
that. Yeah.
fire. If you bump
just-
it at all,
You bump it at all, especially when this thing's running, you're gonna have problems. So
Nice
just
spark.
don't do that.
Of course, the money thing. You just burnt money.
Yeah, we don't want to burn money, guys.
Shinji, ABMNS Production wants to know, I think it's with those gloves, if you're a surgeon or a DJ.
DJ!
Sells kidneys on the black market, actually.
So here, I'll get my DJ rave on. See if I could do that.
Yeah.
DJ rave.
Perfect.
Turn the lights back on so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, so I just put on all the heat sinks.
That's crazy.
So you can see the heat sinks on the back of the card there.
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
So now let me ask you, have you hit these ones with a the infrared gun?
These ones I did.
Whatever, camera? Thermal
I
camera?
did. I did hit it with the thermal camera, and it seems to work very well, especially at dissipating heat. It was so these have a little bit of an emissivity problem because they're not very matte, they're kind of shiny.
Yes.
So I actually had to put like blue painter's tape, something matte on it. Oh, so if you guys don't know, when it comes to using thermography and thermal cameras, there's a thing called emissivity that you got to worry about. So when you have a surface that's kind of like the back right here on this stainless steel bracket, if it's shiny, that will actually reflect a heat reflection instead of emitting what its heat signature is. So if it's a shiny surface, it's effectively like a mirror, but for heat. So if you put if you put the thermal camera like that on here, you will literally see yourself on this, because it won't be an accurate representation of its thermal temperature. So these things have a little bit of the emissivity problem. It's kind of shiny, so I had to put some tape on it. It was kind of hard to read, but the whole back of the card, I was able to get some really nice reduction in temperature.
Nice. I feel like I was
All right.
in a college class. That was nicely said.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's emissivity, reflectivity, and a couple others, but that's the ones we're going to be worried about right now.
I just feel like I'm going to get an F at the end of this, so...
There's going to be a test at the end of class, boys!
Please don't.
Yeah, and we have, the curtain. I don't know why I said mirror. But anyways, that was Teaspoon. The other voice you heard, he's also behind the curtain,
Tough
but
guys.
he shows his face once in a while.
Keep reminded. Yep.
But this is Tech Shinji. He is the smarter of the group, so we put him on camera, so we don't look like fools.
No, I think you mean the prettiest of all of them. He's
Well,
the
that too.
prettiest, so he's on camera.
That too. The wife's jealous of his hair, so...
I am. I'm just jealous of your hair.
And that's pocket change, by the way.
Yes, the other voice you guys hear is the one and only lovely Pocket Changed.
One of
Yeah.
the
Thank you, Shinji.
one of the very few women in the crypto space, which is
There's women in the
impressive,
crypto
to say the least.
space?
Yeah, just a couple
Oh, okay.
that we know of, anyways.
Well, I probably shouldn't get into it, but there was some members on some viewers on my YouTube channel, we would say, that were very concerned about my my assigned gender at birth, shall we say. All right,
Wait a
so
minute.
I just put the card in. I just got the PCIe bracket bolts in here, and now we're gonna hook up the card to power. So this card, I actually have a second one here because, you know, I'm Tech Shinji now, I always have two of everything. This card actually has 3 PCIe power things on the top there. You can kind of see it. Has 3.
Yeah, 3 8-pins. Total pain in the butt trying to squeeze that into a rig. Tell you what.
Yeah, it is not easy.
I just put it in my
3
PC,
pins, like,
and oh my,
That.
that was terrible.
So I'm actually gonna... I got this pre-routed for this because I knew I'll be doing this. So you may ask what the specs on this rig are. This test bench. I am rocking a EVGA Gold Gallium 850 watt power supply. It's got an Intel Core i3 on it. It's the latest 10th gen, so it's got the 1200 CPU socket on it. Rocking 8 gigs of Corsair DDR4 RAM. It's some low speed. I forget what it was. It's nothing special. And we got a Samsung Evo 256 gigabyte hard drive. Why the low specs? Well, it's because it's just a test bench. Don't know what else to tell you guys. But that's the reason for it. Alright, so I got that in there. You got the PCIe plugs in. Make sure nothing's touching back here. I got the bolts in. And so this is the part where I either embarrass myself or it's kind of cool. I'm gonna turn it on. So we just press the power button and look at those beautiful colors right across the top there. Beautiful. Oh, you know what? I need to plug into the VGA on the graphics card. Otherwise I'm not going to get any video signal.
That help, huh?
That would help a little bit. Just a little bit. Alright, while this is starting up, I'm actually going to clean my area a little bit. So when you plug in a new graphics card onto a system, the computer may do something called a double post. Post stands for power on self-test. So you'll see the computer turn off and turn back on. But don't freak out. Sometimes it takes a couple of times. You won't get any like display output like I am right now. So you may just have to wait or turn it off and on a few times. But it'll work.
Yeah, I've seen that happen a couple times in their rigs occasionally.
Yeah,
and I've been
it's kind of freaky because like you got no display output.
Like,
you're like, what's going on?
Right.
So I'm going to manually select a video input here. Just kind of force this thing to turn on. Sometimes the monitor doesn't get the signal to turn on. I'm going to go to HDMI 1. Make sure that's what I'm plugged into. Actually, HDMI 2 I'm plugged into. Alright, so put this back in.
While we're waiting on that, we've got a question from the Avengers34 saying which miner is the best for Ethereum?
Oh, that's how we start a fight.
Yeah, right. Looks like Altered kind of chimed in saying T-Rex is the best for 30 series.
Oh, is it now? So I actually was getting no display output and nothing, nada. But I could tell the computer was working because, pro tip, these fans, if they stop spinning, that means the computer most likely posted. If you guys saw that the fan stopped spinning, it's because, you see how it just stopped spinning? That's because that means the card has shooken hands with the operating system. And that means it knows it can turn the fans off because it's doing nothing. It has a feature where it turns the fans off when it has very little load.
Nice.
So I'm in the system, and I will show you guys all this in just a moment. So I'm actually going to clean up my area a little bit, like a good boy. So question about the best miner to use. First of all, make sure they're over 18. Don't actually use miners. Second of all, I personally have never used T-Rex miner. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's awesome. I've mostly used Phoenix miner. I used Claymore back when it was a thing, and now it's no longer supported, blah blah blah. I don't use that anymore. I use Phoenix. The reason being, it's just something I've used for a while. I'm pretty familiar with the software. I know a lot of the command lines. I know how to program it. So that's mostly the reason. Nothing too, like, there's no real reason why. So I already downloaded the drivers. Unfortunately, it wouldn't let me install the drivers until I actually physically put a card into the system. So I'm going to go ahead and install the drivers. While that's installing, we'll talk about our next subject, which I believe Chump Change, you think you'll be ready soon about your little show and tell?
Yeah, I can show the GPU hangers if you'd like.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, or, you know, if you're not cool and you're not in our Discord and you haven't heard about it, but, you know, that's cool. You know, you should join our Discord, by the way. If you want to be
if you're not
cool,
in our
that is.
Discord, that means you're not cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it means you're not cool yet. We have the coolest Discord, the likes of which this world has never seen. So go to get joined.
That's your hair.
Yeah. So in our Discord, we kind of hinted at what we were doing. But essentially, we have the... So right now, if you go to eBay, like right this second, you go to eBay, try to buy a GPU mining frame, like a Veta frame or something, you're looking at $300+, okay? Not only a year ago were those frames $25 on Amazon with Prime. I got a few myself that way. How do I know they're $300? Well, I have a couple of clients that I do some work for, and they told me, quote, I didn't ask when, I didn't ask how, I said, I want it now. That kind of rhymes, huh? So they threw a bunch of money at me and told me to build them a mining rig, like stat. And I told them, hey, you're paying 2 to 3 times more right now. They said, I do not care. I said I want a mining rig. So I literally just spent almost $400 on a second Veta frame.
Jeez.
They're expensive. So for like less than that, significantly less than that, what's the total cost? Less than $100, right? Less than $100. Like, what is it? So it's $50 for the risers, chump change?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like $50 or something less than that. I forget which exactly. You spend that amount, you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or your local Menards or Home Base or whatever your hardware store is. You get those wire racks that you see at like restaurants and stuff, like at Subway or whatever. You get those and you put your GPUs on, and it's all under $100. Yeah, it's not cheap, as in like it's free, like wood or whatever, but it's a ready-made system that's reliable and easy to use. We are actually in the process of manufacturing those, and considering the market, like a Veta frame or anything else, you see, here's the problem. The Veta frames are great, but either they're really expensive or you gotta wait 3 months to get one directly from China, okay? You can get one from us in less time than that, for sure, and at a much lower cost. At a much lower cost, okay? Unless you like paying $300, $400 for a frame. I mean, I know people, obviously, that like that. I don't like that. I hate spending extra money on things I don't have to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so chump change, you want to go into it? Yeah.
Yeah, we have a, I don't know if you guys can really see it. Actually, let me get him off the screen quick, and then I will explain what we have.
Yeah, just go ahead and remove me right off the screen there for now.
Just so people can see what's going on. Alright, so basically right here we have GPU hangers. This is a $25 Amazon rack, I believe. They also have like a bigger model. It's what, $49.99. We make 3D printed hangers to hang all of your GPUs vertically. So we also have a set of clips. Actually, you know what? I took them off these because I just shipped them out to people. Well, either way, we have motherboard stands that will, you know, support your motherboard. Basically, clip on. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I wasn't prepared to move all around here. All right, so there's motherboard brackets right here, or clips rather, with screws and standoffs. Then we also have there's like L-shaped clips that will go and support the motherboards or the PSUs or the server power supplies.
It looks like the stream paused or something. So there's just a black screen.
Awesome. Give me 1 second. That's why I didn't want to move my camera around too much. People still hear us, or is the
Yeah, the audio's good.
Alright, hold on 1 second. Damn it. I probably whacked a wire.
Adjust your screen.
Yeah, it's not the screen. I probably hit a friggin' wire.
Yeah, man.
Damn it.
As much as it may seem like it, we are not professionals.
Yeah, that sucks. Camera definitely shut off. Alright, let me transition to Shinji again, because my camera's dead. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. I will figure this out and get back to you in a second. Alright, you're back up, buddy. Is your mic muted?
For a minute here.
There we go. Sorry.
There
Okay.
you go.
Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry, I was muted there for a second. I'm gonna take my gloves off here because we're gonna talk about something pretty interesting while Chump Change is getting his technical difficulties out. The keen-eyed among you might notice something over my shoulder right here. What is that? Well, this, my friends, is a real EVGA 3060 non-TI edition. In fact, it's not even opened yet.
You should totally unbox it. I know you won't. I know you won't.
No, can't do that, guys. Can't do that. I got bills to pay, guys. You gotta come subscribe to my channel and see the unboxing. Anyways, so what's so interesting about this card, you might ask? Hey, it's a budget entry-level 3060 non-TA. Retails for $389 with tax and all that nonsense. $414 United States dollar. That's a bug.
You have a bug
Sorry
in there?
guys, I don't like bugs. I got tools for bugs. Special tools.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my camera, so you have to give me a few minutes. But either way,
I'll take care of the bug later.
I have a video that will
Sorry
show
with
you
the
guys
GPU.
about these GPU hangers that we just
Yep.
posted on my channel.
Oh, are you gonna be offline permanently?
I don't know. I'm messing with it right now, so.
Alright, I'll continue talking about this card then. So, this, my friends, is the EVGA 3060 XC. As in, it only has 2 fans. It is not the XC3, it only has 2. This is actually the cheapest variant at the time of this stream. $390, under $400 retail, which is actually cheaper than the retail price of the 2060 Super when that came out. Actually, it's the same price, but you couldn't get one for that price. It comes in this tiny little cute box. For reference, this is a box for the EVGA 3090, which is right here. That's the size difference, my friends. Quite small. It's almost half the size. So, this card, what everyone is up in arms about is because, supposedly, nvidia has done some firmware / BIOS / driver shenanigans to make it so it only mines Ethereum specifically at half the rate. Now, I have not verified this myself yet, but this is what nvidia says, and there does seem to be articles online confirming this. But that's only on Ethereum. Now, why would nvidia do this, right? Why would they do something like that? Well, so back in 2017, cryptocurrency went through the roof. 2080 Ti's were selling for thousands of dollars or whatever. I have no idea. Way more than retail, okay? Then the cryptocurrency crashed, okay? It went to like a very low amount. Like, I think it was like 10% of its all-time high or something like that. Then guess what happened? A whole bunch of 1000 series flooded the market right around or close to the same time the new 2000 series was introduced. Guess what happened? People didn't really buy the 2000 series because there was a whole bunch of cheap 1000 series secondhand on eBay. Why? Because cryptocurrency crashed. All the miners sold off their GPUs because all those people FOMO'd in. So nvidia saw that and was like, hey, we can make more money. So instead of making only regular 3060s, they're making 2 variations. Well, a couple of variations actually, but this variation is supposedly driver locked and supposedly BIOS locked, so it only mines Ethereum at half the rate. Now, there's been reports that people have already unlocked it, but they also make another card for cryptocurrency mining specifically. It has no video outs and it technically can't game. So, I don't know about you guys, but last I checked, nvidia did not secretly source a multi-billion-dollar silicon foundry where they could just suddenly make more cards. I don't know about you, but I would have noticed. You know,
Right.
a couple of $1 billion. several hundred workers like in Taiwan or China or whatever. I don't know. I think it would have, someone would have noticed that.
Yeah.
So they're taking away the silicon that's available from us gamers, quote unquote, and making cryptocurrency cards. That means there's going to be less supply of these cards specifically, because some of that silicon is going toward making those cryptocurrency cards. Let me be clear. The CPU core, the GPU core, the memory, and the PCB design are essentially identical. It's just missing a couple of components that allow for video out and some other related things for gaming. But the core components are the same. So that means when inevitably the cryptocurrency goes down and these flood the market, guess what? It's going to get flooded with those mining cards, which is going to become what? Huh? Yep, that's right. E-waste. It's going to get tossed in the trash because you can't game on it. Okay? And that makes artificial obsolescence with NVIDIA's cards, so you have to buy a new card because you can't use those that was used for mining. At least that's my theory. This is not financial advice. This is not a letter from Ginseng. I never smelled this leather jacket. I don't know what it smells like, okay? But that is my opinion on what NVIDIA is doing. And guess what? They're going to make billions of dollars, and they are protecting their profits by causing you to spend more money. Just my opinion. Anyways, guys, it's not all doom and gloom. This is a very affordable card if you can get one. I personally had to stand in line 9 hours at my local computer store to buy this. 9 hours. Okay? They only had 100 of these in stock. But there's going to be a video on my channel, get subscribed by the way, where I show my journey of standing in line and buying not one of these, but actually one of these Asus 3060 KOs, 3060 Ti KOs. All right, Chump Change, you gonna be ready soon?
Yeah, no, I think this thing's gonna be offline for some reason. It's
okay.
not working with me. So yeah, just
all right.
Do your thing, and as soon as I get it on, it's just.
All right. So now I did my little monologue spew there of nonsense. Let's do some questions real quick while I set up the mining software to do a test on our new heat-sinked 3090 here.
So Barry G has a question. What do you guys think about, I know Shinji you just touched on it a little bit, but what do you think about the Chinese New Year and GPU shortages? Micro Center Discord seems to think the next few weeks are going to be horrible for GPU stock.
So, I actually, only you guys heard it here, folks, okay? I actually have some secret information. So it's just going to be between us, right? Not going to tell anyone? Okay, good. So, I have information from third-party AIBs saying that the GPU shortage will be in shortage mode until Q3. What does that mean? So right now the big fat boat from Taiwan and China that has all of our ASIC chips and memory is making its merry way to our country. So whether it be Brazil, United States, wherever you may be, it's on that boat. And it's going to take a long time because they're still manufacturing, because guess what? Foundries to make silicon is very, very, very expensive. Billions of dollars, okay? They can't just spin up another foundry and make more silicon, especially when this is temporary, alright guys? This is gonna end, okay? It makes no financial sense to spin up a whole entire billion-dollar foundry when this is gonna end and the demand's gonna go down and GPU is gonna be cheap again and just readily available on Amazon. GPU shortages will be like this until the end of Q1, start normalizing in Q2, and back in Q3 they will be plentiful again. Another reason for that is, well, the human malware thing that's going on in the world right now. We're going to have a vaccine sometime later this year that's readily available for everyone, and that is going to help get the world back to normal. And guess what? People aren't going to be at home playing games all day anymore. So, which is unfortunate for me, but
don't lie to us.
Of course not. I don't do that. But yeah, so it's gonna end, guys, and we're gonna get GPUs for a reasonable price again. But yeah, GPU shortages are gonna be kind of hard for a while. In fact, it's gonna get worse for the next couple of weeks. I'd say the rest of this month, it's gonna actually get worse. In fact, in my experience, I'm having a hard time finding these damn cards. I can't find them. I had to get these scalped from some guy on Craigslist, alright? Luckily I didn't get stabbed too many times, just a couple. But it was worth it. It's worth it.
Well, yeah, it's I can't imagine it getting any harder than it already is. But they're gonna start coming and knocking on our doors to take our GPUs. Oh, man.
Okay, I better be careful how I comment on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this thing. Sorry, you're gonna be riding solo on this camera thing. I shouldn't have.
Alright, that's fine.
Just left it. I knew it.
Alright guys, so I hooked this power meter up when nobody was looking. So you can actually see, well, it's kind of hard to tell, but I guess I'll just read it for you. Yep, I can smell it. This thing's starting to pull some serious watts. So right now it's running full stock. And I just turned on Phoenix Miner right here, guys. I know it's kind of hard to see. I don't have a second camera set up. I promise I'll get this better. So you kind of see it right there.
I just want to know why you don't have your logo in the background.
So right now this is running full stock, no changes. And I could actually hear the fan spin up and everything. Right now it's running Phoenix Miner full stock rather. We're getting about 486. Yeah, you can hear that spinning up. 486 watts. So I'm gonna do some stuff here. Oh, actually, hold on, got an error. Let me fix that. Okay, I think I'm good. Alright. Yeah, so as you can see, Phoenix Miner is running. You can kind of see that there. And while that's running, I'm going to go into MSI Afterburner. So what we're going to do, we're going to set the power limit, because I've run this card a couple of times, so I kind of know. I'm going to set it to 70 right off the bat. And right now, stock... Yeah, I'm doing 70%, okay, guys?
Right.
So 70% is different on every card. You notice this has 3 power plugs on it? Yeah, that's because it has a higher power limit. So it's 70% of that power limit, which is around 300 watts or so. We'll see in software how much power it's taking. So I have it at 70%. By the way, the stock number was 106 mega hash, just stock. Literally popped in the computer, turned on the miner.
What was the wattage coming at when you had it just before you put it to 70%?
480 watts at the wall.
Okay. Gotcha.
So now we set it to 70%. So just by setting the power limit to 70%, we're getting 356 watts on the power meter. So we already saved over 100 watts just by doing that one step. Now we're going to increase the memory core. We're going to increase the memory frequency. Okay, and we're going to keep going up until it crashes. All right, so you can see in MSI Afterburner, I set it to 70%. I'm going to just put the fan to max for now. All right, core clock, we're going to reduce it by 100. So negative 100 on the core clock. Then on memory, can you guys hear the fan through my mic?
Barely, only when you talk.
Okay, so we're going to increase the memory clock by 500 for now. We're going to go up in 500, then 200, then 100 increments. So we went up 500 from stock, and that 500 boost gave us like, looks like 10 mega hash or something like that. Yeah, just like 5 or 6 more mega hash. So right now we're currently getting 112 mega hash. And we're still pulling the same amount of wattage. Remember, when you increase the memory core clock, you don't actually take that much more wattage. It's just a couple. The power limit on NVIDIA cards is what makes you take the most amount of power. So right now we're running a stable 112 mega hash. And oh, actually, let me do this real quick, guys, because this is the reason why we did this. Let me get hardware info, download it real quick. Hardware info had a new update to where it allowed it to check memory junction temperatures, which is exactly what we want to see here. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure I
So
didn't like crash.
what's your memory at right now for that card?
So at this exact second, I'm at plus 500.
Oh, okay. Man, I gotta figure out what was going on with mine earlier.
Yeah, I'm using MSI Afterburner just like you.
Right.
Okay, for some reason I'm having some internet problems on this test computer. So I'm going to close this for a moment. And then I'm going to open up...
Shinji drops out.
Yeah, right. Then we have a blank screen.
We have a blank screen?
No,
I'm
no,
gonna be
no.
over here doing crickets.
No, I was kidding. If you dropped out too, we'd be in trouble.
No, I'm running on a backup computer, so the stream is completely isolated from this computer.
Perfect.
I learned my lesson a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm learning mine right now.
When like
so.
a quarter of the way through the stream and like I didn't know it wasn't working until the end. Yeah, that was awkward.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Alright, so what I'm doing right now, guys, I just went to the hardware info website, and I'm downloading hardware info and I'm getting it installed on here. Reason being, it allows us to monitor memory junction temperatures.
I don't know if anybody else was watching Panda's live stream with the 3080s. I think he just did the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it was the same program. I think it was, but he just did this, I think.
Okay, so I got hardware info installed, and I'm going to go over to the GPU. So yep, I can see memory junction temperature. Now, the memory junction temperature is technically the hot spot. It's the hottest part of the memory cores. Memory chips, rather. Okay, so I'm going to start Phoenix Miner back up. So I'm going to try to show you guys what I'm doing here. I have a little batch file created for mining to my own account, of course. You know, just make that very clear. Full disclosure, I am mining to my own account.
I'll give you mine if you want.
Yeah, right? The reason why I don't have this up. So right now it's loading the DAG. And yeah, we're getting about 110. So our memory junction temperature right now is at 86 degrees Celsius, which is nice. We want to keep it under 95. Alright, we're going to push this thing a little harder, guys. Let's do 1,000. So we just pushed it to 1,000 on the memory core. And that increased our memory junction temperature quite a bit. We're at 92 degrees Celsius, 94 degrees Celsius. We're getting toward the danger zone.
So what do you want to stay under, you said?
Say that again?
What did you say that you wanted to stay under? 100? Is that what you said?
95C.
95?
Yes.
On the memory, right?
Yep, we want to stay under 95C.
I gotcha. Yeah, I've never monitored the memory myself.
Okay, so... Actually, hold on one second, guys. I must have misconfigured my Phoenix Miner. I gotta fix that.
While you're fixing that, a while back, Space Goat said you need a proper Space Goat's meter box so we can all see the meter.
Yes. So in the future, guys, I'm actually going to have a second camera / second input where it's going to be focused on detailed shots of things like this.
Right.
That way you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. And right now you're just watching me in a little window anyway, so you wouldn't be able to see it anyway. So let me fix this real quick because something's up on my end.
Yeah, once I hopefully can build my new studio, I won't be having these camera issues either. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible, terrible.
You're actually full screen right now, or full screen right now, which is fine.
Am I full screen right now?
Yeah, he is, yeah. No, I know that. I'm just saying mine, like in general, because I'll have all the right stuff set up and
Yeah, no.
I won't be walking around and these big wires hanging everywhere.
Yep. So right now we are running at 118 megahash, 119 megahash. Memory junction temperatures at 94C and slightly climbing. Remember, TJ max is 110. That's where it'll start to thermal throttle. So we're going to do 1200. That might be pushing this card a little bit hard. It might crash or start getting unstable. So we just pushed to 1200.
So
we have gone up.
Just
Oh,
for
go ahead,
new
what?
people, right? What's safe to like go up by? Say, what would be in your opinion like to adjust the memory or the core? What would you say is safe for them to do? Not like jump like 100 each time. Like, would you recommend going 50 or?
Yep. I mean? That's a very good point, Chump Change. I will get to that right now. So, generally, you don't want to do what I'm doing. Okay,
That's why I was...
don't do it that way. You're gonna have crashes. You're gonna be miserable. I have a lot of experience with this specific card, especially the bin on this. If you notice, I have a label here that says GPU-C, so I know in my head what this card's capable of.
That's why I was trying to clarify, just in case
as you can see, I'm having pull issues here, so I'm gonna have to fix that in a moment. But generally, when you're increasing the memory clock, you don't want to go up like what I just did, like 1,500.
Right.
You want to go up by like 25 or 100. Specifically on the NVIDIA side. On the Radeon side, you might want to go up by 25 or something like that. It really depends on the card you're using. The idea is to go up in little chunks until you start to get instability or crashes.
Right, and you want to wait a few minutes in between each adjustment, right?
Yes.
So you can see it
because
be stable or
running for 1 minute is not stable.
Yeah, exactly. You want to let it run for like 5 or something at least, and then adjust.
Alright, I have to restart real quick because I'm having an internet issue on this computer.
It's all good, buddy.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't connecting to the pool. It was dropping from the pool for some reason. Could be because of this Wi-Fi. Let me get an Ethernet cable. I'll keep talking while you guys are doing your thing.
There you go.
But I'm just going to get an Ethernet cable real quick.
Ethernet for the win.
Ethernet for the win, guys.
Yes,
you can. You can mine on... Wi-Fi. You can do that, but
unreliable.
Unreliable. As you can see here, it's unreliable for me. So I'm just gonna plug in an Ethernet cable. I do have a full-blown gigabit gigabit switch in my room. We don't want any gigabit snitches, all right? Gigabit snitches get crimping. That's a really, really big nerd joke for you guys that don't know, Okay, I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off. So it's definitely connected through Ethernet. So we're connected through Ethernet, gigabit connection, Cat6 cable, Cat6 of course. This is Tech Shinji. We always use Cat6, Cat6A if we can. Why? Not because we need it, but because we can.
6 cats.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so I got my Phoenix miner started. And I'm opening up the hardware info.
Those cards are so nice looking.
Oh my god, dude,
They really are.
The RGB on the top is beautiful.
They
I
did
love
a
it.
phenomenal job. It's
Yeah,
like
I love
so smooth transitioning. Like watching the one on my desk is just crazy for all you guys that haven't seen one in person.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful card. I love it. Okay, so I'm just opening up hardware info and I'm going to the GPU temperature section. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to start increasing the clocks again. Now, remember, don't do what I do. I'm going to boost it by 1,000 because I know how much this card can handle. So right now, we're pulling about 350 watts at the wall. The computer itself takes about 50. In software, it looks like we're taking about 293 watts. And as of right now, we're doing about 117 megahash. And our memory junction temperature is quite hot, actually. It's at 102 degrees Celsius.
So what do you have the memory at now?
The memory right now is at plus 1,000.
Just even. And that's at 117. Is that, is it bouncing around?
117, 118, right around there.
Gotcha.
So we're going to try to go another 200 because I know I'm going to get kind of close. So with these cards, temperature on the memory is a big deal. That really does affect its ability to run. If the memory gets too hot, the card will protect itself and start to downclock until it goes into safe parameters. So right now we are running at 120 megahash at 350 watts from the wall, 293 watts in software. Memory junction temperature is quite toasty at 102 degrees Celsius. GPU core is currently at 46 degrees, which is, just fine for that. We're going to downclock the core a little bit. Let's do 200 negative on the core. Just remember, when it comes to Ethereum mining, what you really care about is that memory speed, not the core speed.
Hey, Tech Shinji, so Chancoin said that you're definitely more beautiful than the RGB on that card.
What did he say?
He said
beautiful.
You're definitely more beautiful than that RGB on that card.
Wow. Thanks, buddy. Hey,
Chancoin
Chancoin. For the win, bro. Thanks for the comment, man. That's very kind of you, but we all know 3090s are way more beautiful. That's why there's two of them. Heart. Yeah. Don't worry, Chancoin. You're in my heart. You got a special place in my heart. All right. So we're doing 120 stable at 102 degrees Celsius on TJ. TJ Max right now is at 102. Remember, temperature max on the memory is 110, so we can push this a little harder. So we might start running into errors, but let's see what we can do. I'm going to go up by 50. So we're going to go 1250 plus, and that might get us another mega hash or so. We're just going to let that even out for a little bit. Now,
what's the core at?
The core is at negative 200.
Okay.
That's the sweet spot, right, for these cards, like the 30 series? Is that... Oh, not the 3060, but like up? Is that the sweet spot? I think I heard Panda saying between the 3080 and 3090.
Yeah, negative 200 seems to work pretty good for me specifically. It really depends on what you have.
Right. I've never tested a 3080, so I don't know.
Yeah, real quick, guys. I have no active cooling on the back of this card, so remember, these temperatures may seem high, but that's because this is being passively cooled on the back of the card. In my mining rig, I have fans blowing across the back of this card. Okay, so keep that in mind. Right now, this is just passively cooled. The CPU fan is spinning, but not really hard. It's the stock one. So right now we got 100 degrees Celsius, so we actually went down a little bit. We're maintaining a steady 120, 119.9 mega hash. We're going to go to 1300 plus on the memory and see what happens. Now, the GPU is not up here because I had that in my mining rig downstairs. But my third 3090, yeah, I got 3 of them. My third 3090, I was so lucky. That has the golden memory chips. I'm able to do 1450 on the memory and do 125 mega hash stable with active cooling on the back of the card.
Now, did you stand in line for that one, or did you scalp it?
I stood in line for that one. That was the first one I got.
Well, you know what? Congratulations, buddy, because you earned it.
Alright, so we're going to do plus 1400 on the memory. I think this card might be capped out. I don't think it can do any more. We'll see. So right now, if you guys are tuning in right now, this is the EVGA 3090 for the Win Ultra Edition. Right now we're at 70 power limit. Core clock is at negative 200. Memory clock currently is at 1400. Fan speed's at 100%. And it appears that we may have capped out at 120 on this specific card because increasing the memory clock doesn't seem to be giving me any more hash at the moment. So we're going to go to 1450, which is really high, 1450 plus.
And what's the temperature on the memory again?
Right now we're at 100 degrees Celsius, passively cooled.
Yep.
It's bouncing between 100 and 102. So right now we're pulling 356 watts from the wall. The machine itself takes about 30 to 40 watts, 50 watts right around there. In software it says we're taking 293 watts. So we are actually capping out at 120 mega hash. So I'm going to clock this down back to 1200. And what we're going to do now is lower the power limit until we start losing mega hash.
So now what? You usually drop it down a little bit on the memory to do that?
Yeah. So I find out where the limit of the card is, like what the card can handle.
Yep.
And then I drop the memory until the hash starts to go away. Then I go slightly above that, and then I adjust power limit.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so running at 120 mega hash solid, 100 degrees Celsius on the memory, passively. So we got 10 degrees technically of playroom.
Right.
So now on the power limit, I'm just going to hit 69 because it's nice. Yeah, don't laugh at my jokes. I get it. Alright, so it looks like when we hit 69, we're at 118 mega hash, 117, so we're losing a little bit. We don't want to go below 69. So let's actually give this a little bit more power limit. Let's do 75 power limit. So we're taking about an extra 30 watts of power. And let's see if we could actually increase the memory again. So I just punched in 1450 and I gave it 75 power limit. If the screen goes black, that means it crashed, so you guys know. So yep, I am increasing in hash rate past where I was at that power limit. Oh, wow, that's great. We're at 124 mega hash.
What? And what did you say it was? What did you just do? Sorry,
I increased the power limit. I increased the power limit to 75.
Oh, okay. Now, does that get the memory hotter by doing that?
It does.
Okay.
It does, but like we're already like at 90% of the temperature it'll ever be.
Right. I didn't know if it like increased it significantly going up or not.
All right, I'm gonna do 1500 on the memory, which is the maximum allowable in MSI, and we're gonna see what happens here.
You're just trying to crash it now.
Yeah, dude. I'm just, dude. I gotta get that money, man. I'm pounding it, dude. I'm pounding it.
What was the power limit?
So it did not like that at all. So I'm gonna clock it back down to 14.
The first power limit he was at 70, and then he went up to he's at 75 now.
75.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So remember, this is how it works when it comes to like silicon and stuff like that. Increased power improves stability to a point at the cost of producing more heat. Okay. So the more power you take away, the less you can do and the less further your clocks can go, right? But then you produce less heat. So that triangle of heat, power, and stability, right? You're trying to balance that triangle right perfectly to where it's one, taking the least amount of energy, giving you the most performance, and has the lowest temperature. That is the golden thing you're trying to do.
Well said, sir.
Okay, so I'm at 1450 on the memory clock. Looks like in software we're taking about 314 watts, which is actually kind of inefficient. Memory junction temperature is at 102 degrees Celsius. Passively cooled, of course. We're going to increase the power limit slightly more. Let's do 77. So now we're taking close to 390 watts at the wall. By the way, guys, if you notice, I haven't crashed yet. It might be because the memory temperatures are being more maintained by these chips, these heat sinks on the back of the card.
That's interesting.
Okay, so looks like we're starting to reach the limit of this card. So there's an equilibrium of power and efficiency. It's going to meet somewhere. That's where you want to find and stay there, even though it's lower, because you don't want to waste energy. When it comes to mining, you want to use as little energy as possible and get the most amount of hash as possible. So it appears that we are starting to get inefficient, so I'm going to put this back down to 75. That reduced our power consumption slightly. So what I'm going to do now is decrease the power limit until our mega hash starts going down too much. Okay, we're gonna go to 74. And those of you that are new, what I'm doing right now, I'll describe it like this. Getting to 80 to 90% of what a card can do is easy. Takes a couple of, make a couple of minutes. Literally, you can just copy pasta my numbers. You'll get to 80% of what this card can do. 80 to 90%. Getting that last 20 to 10%, that's what takes the time of moving the numbers around to get that perfect equilibrium. That's what takes the time.
And just so you all know, we do have a Discord bot that will help you get started on your clocks. Not every card is in this bot. His name's Jarvis. But he will, you type in basically OC, whatever the card is, and he will provide you with some numbers to get started with, and you can adjust from there. And these clocks will be written down in there.
Clocks in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll add those in.
All right, so let's do a quick calculation here.
470, 480s, etc.
So we're doing about 124 divided by 306. So that gives us an efficiency ratio of 0.4. 0.4 watts, 0.4 hash per watt, which is pretty good. It's pretty decent. It's not as good as like a 3070 that gets 0.5, but I mean, a 3070 can't pull 124 mega hash stable. Yeah, so right now, I think I'm pretty darn close. We're pulling about 375 watts from the wall. We're doing about 310 watts in software. We're getting a ratio a little bit under 4 then. Let me just recalculate that. 124.4 divided by 310 watts. So that's exactly 0.401 watts, 0.401 mega hash per watt. So that's pretty efficient. It's better than the 2000 series. It's better than most Radeons. Most. I know, don't cancel me, guys. I know there's some that are more efficient. That's better than most Radeon. Those tend to be around 0.3, 0.375, something like that. So we're pulling at 375 watts from the wall. We're doing 124 mega hash stable. Our memory temperature passively cooled is at 104 degrees Celsius. And our power limits these are the current numbers, power limits at 74. Core clock is negative 200. Memory core clock is at 1450 plus. And fan speed currently is at 100, which, won't be that way, of course, when we put it in the mining rig, because we'll have fans blowing air across it. So I'm just touching these heat sinks on the back of the card. And yeah, they're pretty toasty. But that means they're doing their job.
I have a question for you from Barry G. Barry G wants to know what card manufacturers tend to have the best cards when it comes to overclocking, in your opinion.
Alright, so question was which manufacturers tend to have the best cards when it comes to overclocking? So this is a matter of personal opinion. So I personally love EVGA cards. Now, just so let me just say this before, as a disclaimer. I am not being paid by EVGA. I am not being paid by them. They have not sent me any cards. I bought these. Everything you see here on this table, I bought with my own money. Okay. These cards, I actually got scalped. All right. I had to pay extra for these above market price. How much? I'm not going to say because it's kind of embarrassing. But no one is endorsing me. At least not right now. Not for these cards. With that said, in my experience, EVGA is pretty good for overclocking. They tend to have just higher quality manufacturing, higher quality craftsmanship on the design. I mean, look at the back of this card. Okay? Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. All right? Really is. Why would anyone do all that work? You know what I mean? It's designed very well. Now, when it comes to Ethereum mining, the card design really matters. For example, did you know the Founders Edition of the 3090 actually has lower temps on the CPU, GPU core by almost 10 degrees, okay? When I mine Ethereum on a Founders Edition, instead of 48C, I'm at like 35C, 38C, okay? But the memory cooling is horrible. It is absolutely atrocious, okay? We're at 110 degrees at 102 megahash, okay? It's horrible. But the EVGA, all right, somehow they manufactured this to where it can cool the memory much more efficiently, much better. So it really depends. My personal opinion, for this specific application for Ethereum mining and Ethereum overclocking, EVGA is the way to go, especially for the 3080 and the 3090 series cards, because the 3070 and 60 series cards don't generally have memory chips on the back of the card. Okay, because remember, this has 24 gigabytes of VRAM. Okay, that's more memory than my first computer had hard drive space. All right, so it's a pretty hefty amount. That's why there's chips on the back of the card. So it's been a couple of minutes here. We're still running at a solid 120 to 124. It's moving around a little bit, and yeah, still pulling the same wattage. We're at like 122 to 124. Depends on what's on the screen. Like whenever I get a Discord notification, it's doing something in graphics. So that's another thing, guys. Right now I'm connected directly to the card, and that's giving me a video output, which is also taking some power, as you would say, from Ethereum mining. And that would lower our hash rate by about 1 or 2 or 3, depending on what you're doing. Ideally, you want to add a headless HDMI port to the motherboard iGPU. That's why you want to buy a CPU with a GPU built into it. That way you don't have to rely on the cards to give you display output. The question, yeah, sorry, I got a little off track there. Question, yeah, EVGA is pretty good. I would really, so, again, this is personal opinion, I would really avoid Gigabyte, okay, sorry. They're just not that great when it comes to the manufacturing craftsmanship on the higher end cards, except for the Aurora series. Those tend to be really good. It's kind of weird. In the same company, the Gigabyte stuff tends to not be good, specifically when it comes to the graphics cards. Then you go to the Aurora series, it's like way better. It's like night and day difference. So, yeah, I would say EVGA is probably at the top. Asus is probably following them. MSI is pretty darn good. They've gotten a lot better over the years. So Asus, MSI, I'd say they're on the same playing field. So EVGA, Asus, MSI, then PNY, and basically everyone else, and Gigabyte at the bottom. My personal opinion, there's a lot of AIB partners, like cards I never even heard of coming out now. So I don't know about them, though. I haven't had personal experience with them.
Well, now Gigabyte's never going to sponsor us.
Yeah, I know, right? I haven't gotten any sponsors from them yet. Yeah, so just my personal experience, guys. Don't take it as the word of God. Don't take it as gold. Make sure you do your own research.
Right.
You do your own checkups, okay? All right? Not financial advice. Do your own research. Check it out for yourself, okay?
It was all pretty good list, though, off the top of your head, real quick, you know?
Yeah, I just wanted to make it concise. So we haven't crashed yet. It's been running for, it tells me the time here, 20 minutes so far. So 20 minutes isn't really a good test. Overnight would be a good test. Getting 124 megahash, solid, 104 degrees junction temperature, which is 6 degrees away from TJ Maxx, which is, not great, but it's okay. So we're 1 megahash away from my other card downstairs, which is running at 125 at like 100 degrees, 95 degrees junction temperature. But I got active cooling on that. So yeah, final numbers, if you guys want to write this down. 74 on the power limit, negative 200 on the core, memory clock is at 1450, fan speed we could probably leave at auto eventually. We're drawing about 375 from the wall, or about 310 for the card only in software. and we're doing a solid 124.5 mega hash per second, stable, fully stable. Yeah, so if you guys don't believe me, you can see. I'm gonna try to. You kind of see.
Yeah, that's better.
The wattage draw. How much wattage is actually drawing? Now that's at the wall, okay? Not in software, not at the card. I don't have a PCAT yet. Yes, it's actually called a PCAT. I don't have a PCAT yet, or the nvidia special diagnostic tools that they gave out to some YouTubers. I don't have that yet. I'm trying to get a hold of one. It's hard to get right now, but that allows you to directly measure PCIe slot power draw and PCIe cable power draw directly, not in software. When I get that, I'll do more content on it. I'm in talks with some people that might have noticed some of them hanging out on the loading dock on accident, you know, allegedly.
We've got a question from Mastermind saying, what is that watt meter you're using?
Ah, this watt meter. I don't know. It's a Belkin. It's a Belkin watt meter. So, how do I say this without... At the state where I used to live a couple of years ago, the state went around giving out like fluorescent light bulbs and a bunch of these meters. Every house in certain neighborhoods got 2 meters and like a set of 12 light bulbs and like a couple other things for your faucet for like energy savings. So that's what this is. I like it because this one cable, there's no high voltage through it. This is just a data cable to just power the display. Now, if you guys want to hold 1 second, there's a new device I'm really excited about. I want to tell you guys about it because I just bought some. That way I know it's not going to sell out. If you guys want to talk about something for 1 second, let me go get it.
All right. So what do we got? Any questions in the chat? Let's see. You have yours at 47 power limit. What card's that? Talking about a 3070. That's a really low power limit.
All right, I'm back.
Do you know how tall those heat sinks were that you purchased for the 3090?
Yeah, 1.4 inches or something like that. Let me just double check the specs. I got the exact numbers.
I'm gonna look it up right now. I want to see if I can get some so I can test it out.
And if you can find it, link it in the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've been searching.
Mastermind says his 3090 pounds edition with replacement thermal pads does well for mining 106C on memory, 114 mega hash at memory, with memory only at plus 600. Wow.
All right, I got the exact dimensions for the heatsink. It is actually 1.4 by 1, so it's basically 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches by 0.93, so about 1.5 inches by 1 inch tall. For all of us, all of our European friends out there, it's about is that like 140 millimeters? No, that's quite a bit. I don't know. I'll have to calculate it. If someone could calculate it, put it in there. I want to talk about this new exciting device here.
Do it.
All right, guys. Check this out.
Is it a Wi-Fi plug? What is that?
It's a Wi-Fi plug.
Nice.
But guess what? These are not officially out yet.
Where'd you get that? That's crazy.
Oh, I can't tell you how I got it, but they are not out yet. Okay. So, actually, I forgot to get my other prop. 1 second, please. Sorry, I know it's a live stream, but I'm just going to leave camera for 1 second and get my other prop here.
Now we're all going to get sued showing this box early.
Yeah, right? Oh, well, no, it's not under NDA. I just got it.
Your door knocked down.
So, this is the TP-Link smart switch.
Yep.
This is the old generation, okay?
Yeah,
There's two variations of this, one with energy monitoring and one without. This is the one without because it has the gray. The one that's all white is the one with energy monitoring. These currently go for like $100 on eBay. Why? I think it's my fault because This smart Wi-Fi plug not only can carry 15 amps, okay, but it defaults to on. Okay, why is that important?
Oh, that's
all right,
cool.
okay. The power goes out, right, at your house, whatever. Something happened to cause the power to go out. When the power comes back, this will default to on, not off, okay? So you don't have to physically be there to push the button to turn it on. It'll default to on, okay? This,
That's cool.
my friends,
That's
is the
nice.
new version. New version right here. That's what it looks like. I'm trying to get focus on it. Sorry. Yeah. So this is a new version. This has the same capability as this, 15 amps. Okay, and it can also monitor the voltage. And guess what? If your mining rig has a problem, you can set the BIOS to default to on after power loss, and remotely restart your mining rig from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. And you can monitor the energy use with this device. And guess what? It also defaults to on.
That's awesome.
So, for those of you that are wondering, it is the Kisa Smart Wi-Fi Plug Slim with energy monitoring. The exact model number is KP115 US. Okay, version 1.8. That is this. They are not out yet. You might be able to find them in some places, but they technically come out in a couple of weeks to a month. If you would like one from me, you can pay an exorbitant amount of money, because, you know, I'm not selling them.
Like I only have one.
I have more than one. I'm just not selling them.
Trade you a 3090. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll give you two for 3090. Yeah, guys, so let me just look at this again. Yeah, 124.5 mega hash per second. Got 20 shares already. That is a bug. I'm going to kill that thing. 104 degrees on the memory junction temperature. Passively cooled. Touching the heat sinks. Yep, they are toasty, but not that hot. Yeah, it's running great. So this is a demonstration of adding those special heat sinks to this thing. They are these ones right here.
Yeah, I want to find those. So you got them on Amazon?
Yep, they're on Amazon. They do cost much more though. These cost 4 times as much as this. It was $9 for 2. Okay? The other ones are like $8 for like, I don't know, 12 or something.
But you're getting
But
120, you're getting what, 5 mega hash? Basically,
More.
like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it hasn't crashed, so that's to say something. That's crazy.
Yep. And
what
I mean,
did you-
guys, it's the ambient temperature in here is 78 degrees. It's not cold in here, okay? It's hot. I'm actually starting to sweat a little bit.
Right.
These are the other kind where you can get, these are really cheap and they're readily available. The other kind took me a long time to find. I contacted the manufacturer and they had a few on Amazon, but I'm not sure if they're
What's the name
available
of them? Is there
anymore.
a name?
Yeah, so it's by like a scientific company or something. Electronics Salon, chesslab.com.
I'll check it out. Trying to see if I can find them, but I can't.
I'll put a link in the,
Yeah.
I'll give you a link to it a little bit later.
Yeah, we should drop that in the
You
description.
go over the clock settings again that are pushing that 124 or whatever we're at right now.
Yeah, sure. So the clock settings, guys, for those that you may be just tuning in or whatever, just so you guys know, we added these heat sinks to the, I got another 3090 right here, you know. I got also one downstairs, but you know, you don't need to know that. So I added the heat sink to the back of this card right there. Oh, sorry, right there. Right around the GPU core, because that's where the memory is, okay? Added 3 of these heat sinks to the back, and I added one of these shorter ones on the bottom because there's only like one memory module on the bottom. I added those to this card. Excuse me. Oh. This card normally gets about like 115, 106 to 115 by itself without any extra cooling. But with these heat sinks added, with special thermal tape, which I use this kind right here. You can get it right on Amazon. It's not that expensive. It's like less than $10 for this whole roll right here. With all that added, the clock settings I'm using is power limit at 74% of the power limit, not 74 watts, 74%. Core clock at -200, memory clock at 1450, fan speed at 100% currently because we're not in a mining rig where it cools it passively. And currently memory junction temperature is at 104 degrees, and that's passively cooled on the back. And we're getting a solid 124.5 megahash per second. No problems, no crashing.
I found the link to those, by the way. I'm going to drop it right now after I secured a few for myself.
Yeah, make sure you buy a couple for yourself.
I did, and now I'm dropping the link. So
I might have to buy some right now too.
I just bought 3 of them for my 3090 so I could check it out. There you go, guys. Those heat sinks if anybody wants them. Yeah, it was pretty hard to find, not gonna lie. I couldn't find it without that name.
Yeah. I mean, they're really hard to find.
Well, there was nothing that tall. That was the thing.
There's nothing. They make 1,001 of these, right?
Right.
They actually have a version of this that's solid copper. Now, I was this close to buying it, because why? I'm Tech Shinji and I spend too much money. They are $27 each.
Damn.
Okay? No, I'm sorry. That's my limit. I am Tech Shinji, but I don't go flaunting my money on... it's $90 per card? No, I can't do that, man.
That's insane.
I'd rather spend that money on a scalped card or something, obviously.
Obviously.
Obviously. But yeah, so this is aluminum. The thermal conductivity of aluminum is not as great as copper, not by a long shot, but when you're conducting heat through multiple surfaces like this, being copper doesn't really make that much of a difference. So aluminum's fine. And they come anodized in this nice like tan color, whatever it may be.
Right. So do you leave that bottom one on as well? That's hovering over the center?
Yeah, it's just card. Yeah, because the back
yeah, it's raised. I know it's raised. I just wanted to...
it's raised, and right here, it's not really contacting anything. This part doesn't actually get as hot as these corners right here, or these sides.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you were, I guess, ballsy enough to leave it on there in case you ever bumped it or... You know what I mean?
So these heat sinks, the reason why I did it that way, these heat sinks are taller, so even if something were to come in contact, it'll hit the big heat sinks before this little one.
Right.
Theoretically. So yeah, right. As you can see, guys, we are still running. This, there's no magic here. Everything is connected. Okay, there's no magic. By the way, these cables are really cool. I got nice bright color power cables because you can really see these. The black is kind of hard to see sometimes. These are actual nice like 14 gauge cables. Amazon as well. I'll put a link in sometime later or whatever. But yeah, it's working pretty well. No problems. We've been going for what? 35 minutes. Wow, what time is it? Oh, it's already 11:40. Yeah. Oops. Sorry guys. This stream's going forever. All right, I guess we'll go into the closing portion now.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry guys, I kind of took over and did a whole bunch of nonsense.
I'm glad you did, because that's interesting. These things work that well. I'm kind of shocked.
Cool.
Yeah, and just I keep emphasizing this, but this is currently, the back of the card is passively cooled. Okay, it'll get better when you put it into a rig with fans blowing across it, like much better. I had a 10 degrees Celsius reduction in temperature on my mining rig. That's mine.
That's crazy.
We have a good question before you go into the ending.
Yeah, let's just go over all the questions now.
The Avengers 34 said, I noticed some miners have multiple rigs plugged into a single power strip. How do they do that without blowing a fuse or burning the wall outlet?
I
can answer that, but anyone else want to... I've been talking a lot, so...
Yeah, no, that's fine. So basically, it's what you do is you get a PDU. That's what that power strip is. It is a 240 volt like system that takes X amount of amps. So you can put, you know, up to 80%.
What does PDU stand for?
That's all you guys. I just know the letters.
Power distribution unit.
I'm not that smart. I don't use these big words, all right? But either way, it's called a PDU. That's what I refer to it as. It goes up to, you know, it goes up to 20 amps or 30 amps depending on if you have a 2-pole 20 or a 2-pole 30 in your you know, electrical panel, whatever you're supplying it with. But yeah, you can run multiple rigs off it because, you know, each rig takes, say, roughly, you know, 3-4 amps. It depends like how big the rig is. But you can get up to, you know, around 16 amps safely, which is around 80% of that actual load for a 20 amp PDU, and then the 30 amp, you know, would be what, around 24 maybe, 25, or it'd be higher than that actually. I don't know, it's around there, but you want to stay within 80% just to be safe.
Yep, 80% rule all the way, guys. Especially like this is 850 watts. I'm actually, you know, only pulling 375 watts, so I'm well within 80% rule of this power supply. And this room that I'm working in, I'm actually feeding this rig through a totally separate circuit. Okay? Right. This whole room, all of my lights, the studio, that's a bug. Oh, I'm gonna kill that thing. It's on my softbox over here. It's like a cockroach on a TV screen.
Yeah.
All my lights, my streaming computer, all my equipment, my other, you know, hard drives, my NASs, my backups, it's all on a separate circuit. That's why this is able to run. If the power were to go out, my whole setup would run except this, because everything's on a backup here.
Right. So, just to like elaborate a little bit on your normal like household plugs, usually around what, 15 amps, which is what, 1500 watts.
No, it's actually like, so it's 15 times 120 volts or 110 volts, which is like 1800 watts or something.
Right,
but
you don't want to go over 15. Like, that's just
no,
like in
you
your
don't.
head. That's a nice round number for you guys to use. Like if you have
1360 is generally what you want to stay under. 15 amps full time is kind of stressful for a residential circuit, so you want to be careful with that.
Right. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Your normal household plug, you know, I usually think of it as, you know, about maximum 1500 watts. You want to stay underneath that because like you're getting close to blowing that thing. You know, the breaker's going to pop all the time. So just stay within that, you know, just to be, you know, make it a little clear, easier to understand how much power you can really draw. I mean, you don't want to get that high, but that's what you need to stay under.
Exactly, guys. This is a very common question. Please be safe. Please be careful. Do not overdraw a circuit.
Right.
It may work, yes, but
a little while until it melts things.
What is the risk to you? Do you have children? Okay, is your children's lives worth like burning in the house? Like, come on, don't mess around with electricity, guys. We want you to be safe. We don't want anyone to have problems. We don't want to do anything bad to anyone. Just like Red Mining Panda says, I've never done anything bad to anybody, okay? You know, we don't want to do anything bad to anyone. We don't want you to have problems at your house. Please be safe, especially when you're using high wattage devices like this. It is literally a heater that can start a fire.
Right. Very, very true.
Alright, so this stream is going way longer than I anticipated. Sorry about that, but I hope you guys found it exciting. We're going to answer any leftover questions in either Discord or YouTube. If you guys want to just tell me.
Yeah, it looks like you've got one more from Cyber Noob. I mean, Teaspoon, we can actually start with you because you haven't talked a lot.
Yeah.
If you want to answer, do you use Windows or Hive for your rigs?
Now, I guess it's a kind of a mixture. My actual rigs, I've got 18 cards running, and those I've got spread across 3 rigs right now, and I've got those running on Hive OS. So I've got I remember it's 10 cards, 6 cards, or 10 cards, 5 cards, and 3 cards. And then my studio editing PC that I just built, I've got just my 3060 Ti paired with my 10700 i7 piece or CPU,
Right.
and that's just running nice hash in
Right.
my idle time, whatever. So
Yeah,
works
so
pretty well.
I personally use HiveOS for a lot of mine, just because they're sole mining rigs and it's easy to manage for my phone. When it comes down to if I want to use Windows, like I'll use my main PC to, you know, do like a one-click miner like BetterHash or whatever, or a manual miner depending. But I like to use the one-click miners when Bitcoin is down and Ethereum's like, you know, down, but it's not as much down. That way I can get the auto transfer and I'm actually mining BTC instead of mining Ethereum, because I obviously have enough on Ethereum on nice hash, if that makes sense. So like I occasionally will switch one rig over to, you know, a one-click miner just to get the auto transfer.
I'm a little nervous why you just pulled out a blowtorch, chumpchangeXD.
Yeah, your microphone was muted. We didn't hear if you said anything before this.
Oh, no, that's for the bugs.
Are you serious?
It's very effective, okay? Look, I hate... Look, call me what you want, bug hater, anti-bug, racist, whatever. Look, this is very effective,
Pulls
okay?
on a map torch. What are you doing?
What? Dude, it's
Like the
Shinji. I don't use...
It's like
Yeah.
the hottest material.
I'm glad you know what it is. Most people don't
Mapcast.
recognize the yellow body.
Oh man, that's hysterical. That's great.
I actually went ahead and... See, I like use this so much, right? I got this little stand thing, so now it doesn't tip over. See?
I need one of them. That's great.
Yeah, it's great. Like $5. But yeah,
Totally worth it. Nice.
I use this to exterminate bugs.
Yeah, so
Guys,
don't
do not do
confuse
this
with
at
mining.
home.
This has nothing to do. Has nothing to do with why your wires melt.
I mean, it could, but don't do
I
that.
guess.
I mean, one of my videos, I'm going to start out with, hey, welcome to mining. We're going to talk about heat. That was actually kind of hot. I felt that. So the question was what software we use?
Yeah, so like, yeah, basically what you use mine with.
Oh, I just use Windows for now. I use Windows and Phoenix Miner. Like I said before, I'm just very familiar with it, and you can say okay boomer all you want, but it just, for me personally, it works, and I have a lot of integration with software. Like for example, my Rainbow rig, the water-cooled rig, there's a lot of software devices on it that only works on Windows. So, didn't really have an option there on what to do, but mostly Windows for me. I am going to use HiveOS eventually because, you know, it's the
Been
new
saying that
hotness.
For weeks.
Yeah,
Months.
years, decades.
We'll get you on there eventually.
Eventually. Well, one day I'm going to be like, I'm so sick and tired of this, and I'm going to use HiveOS. Like, I
You're
couldn't
never
do
gonna
all
turn
this.
Back after that.
Yeah,
You're gonna
I
be so
couldn't do
mad.
all this in HiveOS. I mean, like, not this way. Oh, I just unplugged it.
Well, you, yeah, I mean, you can adjust clocks and stuff and mess with it. It's just not the same. Like, it's a little different. You know, the, what is it, the memory? It's like double
Yep.
or something.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are a little different because you're doing delta changes instead of adding, right?
Right. I believe
Yeah,
so.
you're doing absolute values instead of just adding on to the base.
Actual
Oh,
legit,
right.
like specific numbers, not. Yeah.
Like you're doing 300 watts or 310 watts versus 75% power level.
Right, yeah, I had to put in,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
what was it, 200 or something, or was it 300? It was 300.
It was 300.
Right? Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
had to do 24. Memory was the highest we got, I think.
Stable, yeah. I think
Stable.
25 it started to go down. We hit 26, but it was
Right,
less than 24.
right.
Yeah.
I see some in Discord. Let me see if there's... Did we already answer those questions or whatever that is?
Discord at all,
No,
actually.
there was a couple. I think those were, there was someone that had dropped a note about a capture device. K-Dog.
Where was that?
Capture device works great.
In your specialty.
I use it
in
to
the
stream
section you
their
can-
Switch on Discord. Oh, yeah, thanks, man. I'll look into that.
Yeah, it's like $14 a little HDMI capture card.
All right, guys, we love you guys really a lot, but it is getting kind of late. This stream is going kind of long. I hope I didn't just dox myself there. So we're going to try to end this stream. Thank you for all your questions. If you have any more questions, just because we're not on there or we're not live doesn't mean we can't answer them. Just come join our Discord. Get subscribed to our channels. I'm Tech Shinji. ChumpChange is the one hosting it. Thank you to him for hosting it on the channel, on his channel. Teaspoon Miner is another one of our founders in this Discord. We are the Mining Misfits Discord. Please join our Discord and come say hello. We can also help you there to answer any questions as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I apologize for my camera being all funky. But yeah, if you guys are interested in any of those GPU hangers, I'll be 3D printing them live probably at some point tomorrow. If I had to guess, I just gotta figure out what's going on. But I'm dropping a link to these guys' YouTube channel. Go over there and like and subscribe if you could. That would be greatly appreciated because they do a lot of hard work to get this place in order for all you guys.
Good stuff.
Yeah. You have anything to add, Mr. Teaspoon?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered all our YouTube stream questions. So thank you guys for all for being here tonight, enduring through our minor technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry about the 2.5 hour stream, guys.
I'm sure nobody's complaining.
Hey, you guys got to see
Shinji,
something cool.
Can you just end it with what your numbers were for the 3090 for them?
Yeah,
Someone
sure.
asked.
So just ending, we're getting 124.5 mega hash at 375 watts from the wall. In software, 310 watts at the card. The settings for the card are power limit of 74%, core clock at -200 from the base, memory clock is plus 1450, fan is at 100% for now. Modifications that were done, we added a total of 4 heatsinks on the back of the card, and memory junction temperature is at a steady 104 degrees passively cooled.
Perfect. I'm dropping a couple links to Crypto Shaped and Altered Component as well. They're a huge part of our community.
I'll be right back. I gotta go murder some bugs.
Oh, you're a disaster. I love it. Let me, I think that's the correct one.
Alright, they ain't coming back to bother me.
Got him. Just ended
Got
that.
them, boys.
You know what? Get a
See,
gold
when you
star
burn
today,
them,
buddy.
they don't have time to, like, pee or anything, so they instantly die, and...
Pee. What is
You know
it?
those diamond-shaped winter bugs?
Stink
They always try to
bugs?
come in your house? Yeah, the stink bugs. If you
Yeah.
burn them, they don't have time to pee, so they're instantly dead.
Alright. Probably smells like a barbecue in there now, huh? Just like a really bad one.
I only burned like 3 of them. We're good.
3 of them? You have an infestation.
Well, I got the freaking windows open. It's so damn hot in here, so...
Yeah, it's only like 90 degrees in your room with this thing running.
Well, it's actually 80
In the
degrees at the
studio.
moment. Yeah,
Oh,
guys,
that's
so
crazy.
ambient temperature is 80 degrees. Okay? And we're still doing that. So that tells you this works.
Right. For
Excuse
sure.
me?
Alright guys, well, I guess we're going to call it quits here. Hopefully everybody has a good night. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see you next time for sure.
Thanks for joining the stream, guys.
Dudes.
Hit that like
Thank you,
button.
everybody.
Smash that like button. Get
Smash that like on
subscribed.
the way out.
Yep. Thanks for joining us here
Please.
on our stream.
Alright, we'll see you guys. I'm just gonna leave this on for a minute. So you guys can chat and yeah, I'm gonna try to mess with my camera. Hopefully I can get this thing back up, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So you guys have a good night.